has a bit of time now being chased. Plants throws. He's looking downfield. He's got a receiver, and it is caught. Jimmy Smith at the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown, Jacksonville. He beats Wayne Starks for 45 yards.
Barks out for signals. Drops to throw. Has time. Fires the slant. Jimmy's got it this time. 35, 30. Middle of the field. 20. He's going to the 20-yard line. He's going to score. 10, 5. Jimmy Smith. Touchdown. And the Jaguars are right back in this ball game. Barks out the signals. Pressure coming. Steps up. Steps. Turns. Throws. He's got Jimmy. First down. 20. There he goes. 10, 5. Touchdown. Win. Jacksonville. Done under pressure. Steps to avoid. Turns and throws. He's got him in. Caught Jimmy inside the 40-yard line to the 37 and down to the 36.
Congratulations to Jimmy Smith. That is now his 800th career reception, and what a play to get it on.
This team winning right now, it helps bring so much attention to our franchise, what we did back in the day, like we were talking about, these Hall of Fame conversations. But when we're winning, we see the conversations pick up. So we have noticed that. So obviously, I'm pulling for my team to get to this Super Bowl.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, and Dylan Denmark.
All right, good morning, everybody. The cuts keep coming. Unfortunately for Austin Trammell, somebody had to go to make room for the newly acquired Tim Patrick. Good morning, Jaguars Today, off and rolling. We know what the roster is going to look like. We are that much closer to the start of the NFL season. I'm Mike Dempsey, joined as always by Tony Smith. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
Any major surprise for you yesterday?
Nothing major, no. It was interesting that they kept both the rookie defensive ends, the undrafted guys, found a way to keep them both on the roster.
You know what, Tony? You can never have enough edge rush, right? That's one of the cliches people like to talk about, for sure. But, it's hard to distinguish between the two, right?
Yeah.
Different body types, both super productive, getting tons of pressure in the 3 preseason games. Not albeit against backups, but, hey, so be it.
Sure.
You got to beat the guy in front of you.
Yeah, I think we all thought they were going to keep one of them.
Absolutely.
It was that they found a way to keep both of them on the 53, and then they make the move for Tim Patrick.
Yeah.
Which, they trade the 6th-round pick for that, and they're letting go of who was the 5th wide receiver on the roster at that point.
I think they'll get Austin Trammell to the practice squad.
Right,
though.
like something like that. So I do think it's interesting, and we can go through this whenever we want to. Look, if you assume they're going to have 8 offensive linemen active on game day, which the NFL allows, like it's 47 plus 1 if the 8th guy is an offensive lineman, right? So you can keep 8 offensive linemen active on game day. Who are the 5 inactives for this football team right now? And I think that's where the discussion about how do we keep all 4 running backs active on game day, right? Like that's where that kind of math becomes interesting for the team. Well, we got a week and a half to discuss these kind of things with the football team, but I don't know. I assume Tim Patrick's going to be active on game days.
I mean, I would hope that you're not giving up a draft pick for a guy who's not going to be active on game day.
Right.
Otherwise, I mean, you would think he'd be part of the plan. And we'll get into Tim Patrick and what he's all about. And the Jags make that move this morning. Tom Pelissero first to report that they're acquiring Tim Patrick from the Detroit Lions. Dylan Denmark is here. We've acquired him from the Baldwin Indians. Good morning, young man.
I'm doing great, Mike. Good morning.
I didn't ask, but I'm glad to know.
I was kind of reading something. I was reading some NFL news. I kind of figured you were leading that way, and then I was just like, whatever.
It's one of those "What's up? Good, good" type situations. How you doing? What's the reverse of that?
And it's like the enjoy your meal in the drive-through. You too.
You too.
They're dropping you off at the airport. Enjoy your flight.
Have a great flight. You too. Exactly. How are things still in Denmark?
Or great, man.
Right.
I found a secret the other day at a grocery store.
Do tell.
People may or may not know about it. When you're shopping for a watermelon, do you know how to find a good watermelon?
Tap on it and see if it's too soft.
Now, some people do that.
Okay.
I saw this on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm 2 for 2.
Okay.
Look on the side. Look at the one that has a small booty hole. The small booty hole is good. I'm serious.
Is that on the side?
Yeah,
or
it's
that,
like it's the little
like
hole.
on the end.
Yeah.
On the end.
They want the smaller one. That's what they say.
Tony, any thoughts?
I don't know what to do with that.
I think you do actually. That is, obviously check out watermelon booty hole size next time you're in the produce section.
I'm telling you, I'm 2 for 2. Both watermelons have been pretty good.
So you've had 2 good watermelons,
I have.
is what you're saying.
Yes.
Should you run like a test maybe and get one of the bigger?
Well, according to the comment section, they said that's been working too. So I'm, the scientific notation's on my side so far.
Is it? Okay. Well, it's a hell of a week, ladies and gentlemen. We're glad you're tuned in to get all the latest here on Jaguars Today. So the Jags do keep a pair of defensive ends. I don't know where to go with that either, Tony. Mm-hmm. So we're going to leave it to the side for now. Disappointment is Caleb Bransaw. Why don't we fire up today's 10-10 take a little bit early there, young Denmark?
10-10
take.
Now, Mike Dempsey's 10-10 take is serviced by Ideal Conditions Heating and Air, your go-to local HVAC company, veteran owned and operated.
The Jags and no other NFL team is under any obligation to give you any kind of injury information in the preseason, right? The fact that they say lower body and give you any timetable, that's up to them entirely. They don't have to talk about it at all. It's different when you get into the regular season. So I think it caught a lot of us by surprise that Caleb Bransaw is not coming back for his rookie campaign. A 4-3 guy who they projected to be able to play the free safety eraser kind of position at the back end of the defense, something he had never done. So now you're going to go into year 2 with Caleb Bransaw with a truncated training camp where he was injured, still having never played that position in a full-time capacity. Tony, it's a shame. The start of Caleb Bransaw's career kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit here. He won't be able to help this football team. This is second highest draft pick they expended this year after the one that they used on Travis Hunter, taken right before Wyatt Milam. I do think this is why Darnell Savage is on this roster. There's a good chance that's why he's on this roster. If they thought Bransaw was coming back, within that 4-game window, maybe it would have gone a different way. But maybe even they keep Daniel Thomas in that circumstance as a guy that they know after 4 weeks will have Bransaw to kind of play the role of Savage and will shift him more into his full-time duties as a safety. He, by the way, Daniel Thomas is going to sign with the Detroit Lions. But out of all the moves that went down yesterday, it's a handful of surprises on who they kept, mild ones at best. The biggest disappointment easily was finding out that Caleb Bransaw is not going to play at all this year.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. Maybe it speaks to how well the transition from corner to safety full-time was actually going for Bransaw, right? Like how they felt about that transition at this point, plus the injury on top of it. So when are we getting him back on the field, that kind of thing. And, once you're in the regular season, there's not a whole lot of time to do the training, right? Like they got to be ready to go. So whatever the injury is, we don't know exactly what it is. I don't know how much of it is what I just said, right? Like how ready or not ready he is to be a safety at this point in the NFL. I don't know what the answer to any of those questions are. I know the final answer from the team is he's not playing his rookie year.
That's right.
Right? Like we know that that's the outcome with everything that's happened with it. And obviously you're going to make that decision with Bransaw. It makes keeping Savage an easy decision for the football
team. They needed a safety who could actually play safety, right? And or at least had some flexibility to move between positions. And that was one thing that Bransaw provided you. He played nickel in college, right? And so he had that flexibility. He could play some corner. He could play deep safety. They hoped, and they think that I think Darnell Savage can do some of those things, maybe not with the same athletic prowess as Caleb Bransaw potentially brought to the table. But regardless, lost rookie year for Caleb Bransaw. So today, we're asking you, after the roster cut downs, which one of these positions for the Jags do you think has the most quality depth? And if you think it's another position, just reply with the name of that spot, if you don't mind. The options are listed alphabetically here: cornerback, defensive end, running back, and wide receiver. And we'll go through those as we get into the program today, give you our thoughts on that. Right now, running back holding down the top spot pretty easily in the voting so far. If you want to be on the program today and discuss Jaguar football in all its many forms, 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. Same number for the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hit us up in the YouTube virtual studio chat. You can stream us on Twitter. You can stream us on Facebook, or find us on the X platform at MD_1010XL, at 1010XL Fat Tony, and at 1010XL Denmark.
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws, baby.
Thought we might have had something new there. I wouldn't know what it would have been, but I was just anticipating something having to do with a watermelon.
Keep you on your toes.
Something to do with a watermelon. All right. We're definitely on our toes now. John Oehser will join us for the second hour of the program today, talking Jaguar football with you for the next 2 hours. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Hayes Carline is our special agent. He goes into the locker room to uncover insights about your favorite football team. His mission is to bring it back to you on 1010XL. Special Ops support by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Josie for Hard Rock Bet, and I know you've been waiting for this. College football is back with massive matchups to kick off the season in style. The only thing better than hearing your favorite school's fight song is the sound of cha-ching. Hard Rock Bet makes it easy to place your bets so you can feel like the big man on campus. Download the Hard Rock Bet app or log on hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Frank Franzi here for Coyle & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember Morton Anderson missing a chip shot field goal that launched the Jags into the playoffs in 1996? You know who doesn't miss? Coyle & Sons Fencing. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. Or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coyle & Sons, keeping your business and home safe for nearly a century. Come celebrate kickoff of college football with the Frangie Show. Friday from 4 to 6, we'll be at the Poor Tap Room in downtown at Laura and Forsyth. You could win Florida-Tennessee tickets. Friday, 4 to 6 at Poor Tap Room downtown.
Watch football this season in downtown Duval at Poor Tap Room Jacksonville. 2 floors, 15 TVs, a giant projector, 80 self-pour taps of ice-cold craft beer, wine and cocktails, plus a full bar, wings, burgers, and more, and pizza delivered to your table from Pizza Dynamo. Downtown at Laura and Forsyth. Poor Tap Room Jacksonville. A beer festival every day.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
I'm Frank Franzi, and I just got back from the farm at Okefenokee. Man, it's incredible. Just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. I was so impressed. It's about connecting with nature, with food, with community. And now you can own your very own handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm. Everything you need is there. You'll hardly need to go grocery shopping. Learn more about all of it at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com. The farm at Okefenokee.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. In the summertime, it really can stretch out most of the year because we love the warm temperatures here in the Sunshine State. Greg, give them an idea of what Honda has to offer.
They are all over the board. They've got Honda scooters, Honda motorcycles, we've got Honda boats, we've got Honda side-by-sides. So whatever you like, we've got it.
That means adventure is waiting.
That's right, and we're ready for you.
In the showroom, you can find all that Honda has to offer on Atlantic near Regency, or check out Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
Attention men and women, if you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch.
Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy.
Hey, what up, girl?
Grab my glasses, I'm out the door. I'm gonna hit
Jaguars
this
Today
city
on
before I leave.
1010XL.
Brush my teeth with a bottle of Jack. 'Cause when I leave for the night, I ain't coming back. I'm talking pedicure on our toes.
Talking about by request to Tony Smith right here. All right, Jaguars Today. Big things happen around these parts. A big receiver coming this way. Tone, I don't know. I look at this. We'll get to Tim Patrick here in a minute. I don't know how aggressive the Jags are going to be in claiming anybody from any other team's cuts. You know what I mean? Like, you work with these guys for months, and you see the pluses and minuses in them, and all of a sudden you're going to go out there and say, oh, somebody that wasn't good enough to make somebody else's 53 is going to come in and take their spot. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying there won't be a move or two, but I don't think it's going to be that many. I'd be really surprised if it was at this point in time. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make any of those kind of waiver claims.
As I said yesterday, I thought that there would be a waiver claim potentially at wide receiver. Well, they've made the trade.
They made a trade instead, right?
For Tim Patrick, and I wouldn't be surprised if that was it, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the number didn't get to 2 moves when it comes to the waiver wire. Now, maybe there's a corner that becomes available that they just like a little bit more.
Possible.
Than the bottom guy, whoever that is in their mind on their roster.
Guessing that's Braswell.
Right. But I don't necessarily expect it to happen for the football team. So Tim Patrick being traded for, my guess would be that's the end of the work, putting the 53 together.
The Jags made that announcement official right at the top of the hour that they're giving up a 6th-round pick. Ironically, it was the trade that Detroit made during the draft with Jacksonville, where the Jags moved from 70 back to 102, and in the process, they got the 102 and they got a couple of 3rd-rounders next year. Mm-hmm. And Detroit had moved up to get wide receiver Isaac Taslaw. If I'm saying I mispronounce it or I pronounce it differently every single time I say it. But the big-bodied guy, he was a small college guy, but he went to Arkansas, and, he's one of these height, weight, speed freaks, right? And just a big, massive wide receiver who can run.
Was awesome in the preseason.
Had a phenomenal preseason. Caught 10 of 14 targets, well over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that, in large part, made Patrick expendable to this team. Patrick has been a decent wide receiver at points in his career. I don't think he's going to make much of an impact in that regard. Now, could he be a red zone weapon and catch 2 or 3 touchdowns? That'd be fantastic, right? I think that would be about the limit. But as good as Detroit's offense was last year, Tim Patrick started 9 games, played 16, and he scored a total of 3 touchdowns on 33 catches, right? They had a lot of options to go to, but I feel like, you go through the pecking order of who needs targets in this offense, and pretty much every wide receiver is going to be ahead of Tim Patrick here. I think he's brought in for his physicality, for his run blocking. He grades out very well in that category from Pro Football Focus, and occasionally as a red zone weapon to get him in there. I mean, we talked about yesterday, like, just how many times can you run 4 receiver sets with this team, right? Is Brenton Strange going to be on the field in the 4 receiver set as your tight end, empty backfield? If you have a running back, you're going to have no Strange. So 5 receiver sets. Now, granted, you don't have to only run 5 receiver sets. In the red zone, you might have some of the smaller guys off the field in favor of a Tim Patrick in those scenarios. But you go back now 5-6 years when he was in his mid to late 20s, and he was a pretty ascending player with Denver, caught 51 balls for 742 yards in 2020. They gave him a 3-year contract extension, about $11.5 million a year at that time. Wasn't chump change. It was an interesting investment that they made, and he responded by giving them almost an identical season the next year. Caught another 53 for 734, so almost identical numbers, and 5 instead of 6 touchdowns. Then missed 2022 with a torn ACL, then missed 2023 with a torn Achilles, and returned last year to play with Detroit. And, said he's feeling good. Everything is good. He struggled early in training camp. I was reading some stories. I wasn't following Tim Patrick all throughout the last 6 weeks or so and his progress along the way. But, Tone, I think, again, has to be active on game day. If you're giving up a 6th-round pick to get him, he's not going to be break glass in case of emergency guy. I don't think. I think you want him, and you have a vision. This team is telling you, we want to run the ball, and we're going to prioritize bringing in a big-bodied guy. By the way, 6'5", 210 is what he's listed as. And he plays tough. He generally, if you watch Tim Patrick highlights, when he catches it, he's always moving forward, falling forward at the tackle point. So he's a decent player, and he's not going to revolutionize this team, but I think it's more indicative of what they're looking for. He doesn't play a lick of special teams. He did as a rookie, but pretty much all these type guys do as rookies. But the last few years, he hasn't played at all, really, on special teams. So you're not going to get anything out of him there.
And, with the major injuries in back-to-back seasons, I don't know that I'd want to expose him on special teams. If he was coming back last year from those 2 injuries in Detroit, certainly wouldn't want to play him in those kind of spots if I were the Lions. I don't know if Jacksonville has any interest in doing that with him here, but it does feel like now they've put together a wide receiver room where the special teams impact is going to be Parker Washington as a return man, right? Like, that's it. Like, that's the special teams impact they're getting from the wide receiver room. So, look, it tells you how they feel about Ray Lane.
Sure.
Right?
Well, I think the release of Daniel Thomas did that, but yes.
And a bunch of different spots on the roster because that's where the impact on special teams is going to come. It's not going to be the Tim Jones game in Jacksonville this year. Now, I expect all 5 wide receivers to be active on game day with Tim Patrick being acquired in the trade and Trammell being released to make that kind of thing happen. So, I'm curious to see exactly, as I mentioned in the opening, what the game day actives look like for the football team with the way the roster is currently put together, because they still have to inactivate 5 of these guys. I wouldn't be surprised that both of the rookie defensive ends are 2 of the 5, right, that wind up inactive.
Depends. Right. I wouldn't either, but it depends on what they can contribute on special teams, too.
Right. Like, these kind of questions are obviously very open at this point. I do think, you look at what Detroit was doing, and in my mind, I had this picture of Detroit when you mentioned the touchdown numbers for Tim Patrick specifically. Look, they gave away the game on what they were looking for at wide receiver last week when they were at least mentioned.
With Devon Vele.
Right. Like, they wanted a bigger body guy. Well, they got it now in Tim Patrick. That was obviously what they were looking to prioritize if they were going to bring in another body. And maybe that's about their ability blocking in the run game. Like these different things that they prioritize and what they're going to be doing in the offense. I'm not sure exactly what that's going to be. But look, I think the 53-man roster is now intact. I don't expect any more moves to be done. I don't expect some big impact from Tim Patrick. If he winds up being a 35, 3-touchdown guy this year, fine.
If he does that, that's probably around, to me, the high end of what I think you could expect.
Yeah.
I mean, how many I wouldn't surprise me if he caught less than 20 balls.
No.
And if he's out there and he gives you that physical, that's presuming there aren't major injuries in the wide receiver core.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
I don't know who I'm taking off the field to get Tim Patrick.
That's what I'm saying. The pecking order for targets outside of the red zone, I don't know, maybe an occasion, possibly third down if you're looking, depending on the type of routes you're running. If you want just a big body guy to play kind of a box out type situation and you're trying to pick up 3 yards. I don't know. I don't know what they have envisioned for him, but I think it's when you see how good he is as a run blocker, that's maybe the primary thing that they're looking for, some physicality here. It is interesting because who knows what Devon Vele's asking price was or what the Jags were willing to pay. He ultimately went for a 4th and a 7th, which is significantly more than just a 6th-round pick, but he's also in his 20s, and he doesn't have this history of major injuries. I mean, this is kind of feels like a 1-year rental for a guy that this is an offensive coaching staff who wants to come in and do one thing primarily more than anything. That's establish the run, because if they can do that, it's going to help Trevor Lawrence. It's going to take pressure off the offensive line. It's going to open things up for the receivers and the tight ends. So if you can do that, and they think probably this goes a long way towards helping, at least. It's not the most important part of the puzzle, but because he's not going to be on the field all the time, and it can't be a tell that, okay, Tim Patrick's on the field, Jack's going to run the ball. I don't think it'll be that. I think Liam Cohen's more creative than that, but we'll see how he's
accomplished enough wide receiver that you don't have to have that as a tell.
No, you don't. Yeah. You don't. But again, who are you taking off in what circumstances if you're throwing the football and you're going to choose to have De'Ami Brown, who you're paying $10 million off the field, or Travis Hunter? I'm sure there are going to be times when he's off the field, but Parker Washington is showing you that he can be a really good in-house go-to option as your fourth receiver based on the offseason that he's had. Speaking of receivers, Adam Thielen is going back to Minnesota. Another deal going down. This one's been rumored for a couple of days. And what is ultimately going to happen is Carolina's going to go from the 7th round to the 5th round next year, and then from the 5th round to the 4th round in 2027. A couple of pick swaps with the Minnesota Vikings to get Adam Thielen back to Minnesota. Of course, Jordan Addison going to miss the first 3 games of the season up there. Would not surprise me at all if Thielen is starting opposite Justin Jefferson in week 1 for this team. But
he won't be starting here in week 1.
No, he will not. That is correct. He's off the field for the Carolina Panthers, who now will rely on Teteroa McMillan, Xavier Legette, Jalen Coker as their top 3 guys. Very inexperienced. What is that? 2 years of NFL experience combined between the 3 right there. You know, a lot of people talked about, could the Jags, really trade Travis Etienne and have that inexperienced running back room at the top 3? Well, they basically did that in Tampa last year. Obviously at this point, it looks like no trade materialized for any of the Jags running backs. Certainly not before the cutdown point, and maybe it was never going to happen, but we'll see, because other deals. I think part of it is, too, the game of chicken. Like, all right, Detroit, let's see. Are you going to put Tim Patrick on the 53? Oh, you are? Okay, now we will give you something, because, you have to, by doing that, unless you release him again before the season starts, you're guaranteeing his salary for the year if you're the Detroit Lions, basically. So Tim Patrick comes in. Your thoughts on the Jags roster cutdowns? Welcome. If you want to get on board and discuss that with us, you're certainly able to do that at 641-1010 on the Checkmate Coatings phone lines. John Oehser will join us next hour. Today, we're asking you, now that the roster has been cut to 53, which one of the 4 position groups that we laid out do you think has the most quality depth? Alphabetically, we listed cornerback, edge rusher, running back, and wide receiver. Those are the 4 rooms you can vote on. About 200 votes on that already. You can go to @MD_1010XL on the X platform to cast your ballot. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like Evo implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
AA Automotive helps keep your vehicle in dependable and safe condition. Call Sam, Harry, or Joe, and they'll check your brakes, tires, fluids, electric, and motor, so your ride runs smooth on the road. That's AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Hidden Hills Golf Club on Monument Road has a little bit of something for everyone. So whether you want to practice, play, or just relax with friends at the Hills Grill, Hidden Hills is the place for you. Check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
I know you love sports, so why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
Duval Fence is looking for the best in fence installers. Check out DuvalFence.com right now and fence in a great job opportunity. From estimates to installers, they're looking for you right now. Log on to DuvalFence.com for all the details. Equal opportunity employer.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Instant Keys
saves the day if you have lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call 722-1111.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
Jacksonville, Hickens calling it. Checkmate Coating, my MVP. Tough, slick floors that dominate any space.
Checkmate Coatings. Your floor's missing piece.
Hacker here, and you guys know I always tell you the benefits of Awaken 180 weight loss. Well, I had another one last week. I went down to Disney for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, right? And I actually dressed up in a costume along with my wife and my son. Now, 100 pounds ago, I would not have ever dreamed of dressing up in a costume nor getting my picture taken because I didn't want to get my picture taken. I didn't want it plastered all over the internet with the way I look. But thanks to Awaken 180 and losing over 100 pounds, you get more confidence. You can wear costumes now. You can be part of the family fun. It's just another benefit that Awaken 180 provides. It's a healthy lifestyle. I'm in the maintenance program now. It's absolutely awesome. Again, I cannot possibly recommend Awaken 180 enough. Losing weight has changed my life. If it's time to change your life, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, more Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Denmark, any reason you're asking about the biggest Mutant Ninja Turtle onesie that's available?
No, you were talking about costume. And
well, yeah, I heard Hacker talking about costumes there. One of the benefits of weight loss is now you can wear costumes.
Yeah.
So
last time I wore a costume was in college.
What were you?
It was a Ninja Turtle.
You were a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. I forget what size it was, but I don't remember going to the store and seeing like a 3 or 4XL.
No, did it fit you well though?
Oh yeah.
In college?
Mm-hmm. It was like a Snuggie.
Are you much bigger than you were in college?
No, I'm the same size.
Yeah, you're pretty skinny.
Yeah.
I was going to say. All right, there you go. Never know what's going to happen here on Jaguars Today. 641-1010 if you would like to get in on the program. Tone, running back room. Yes, they could have 4 active on game day, and they could all have different roles. You're talking about the 5 guys who are not going to play on game day. If you think that 2 of those young defensive ends are likely game day inactives, I think one of the offensive linemen is a safe bet there. Maybe one of the linebackers because you got 6 guys there. And then it kind of depends, maybe a little bit game plan specific on what you're trying to do. So there may be a path to getting those guys active on game day. That's going to be one of the most fascinating things. I have no idea. Just like we had no idea Caleb Bransaw was going to be lost for the season because they don't have to tell you. I think Liam Cohen generally plays most of his cards close to the vest, as you should. And I don't know if we could guess that I think Etienne starts the game with the first touch. I don't think it's long. And now this is, let's say all 4 were active. I don't think it's long before you see Tank Bigsby on the field. But is LaQuint Allen your full-time third down back? Does he need to be if Travis Etienne is active for your football team? Now, maybe he does pass protection-wise, but can you split it up that, minutely? And where does Bajal Tootin fit in all this? And where does he get his reps? Because, again, it's one thing if you're in a 2-minute offense at the end of the half and you put it back in, well, you're throwing anyway, right? It's not a major
and
tell.
whoever you put in is in.
Right, and he's going to be in, he's going to stay in, and you're probably throwing almost every down at that point anyway. But I do think that this, looking at the way the roster is set right now, we don't know if they're done, by the way, but
we're guessing.
Right, and my guess is...
My gut is they're done.
And if they're not, it's going to be like, here's Austin Johnson. How many defensive tackles do you need active on game day? I mean, the Jags try to set a world record for how many they rostered last year.
Right.
But how many do you actually need on the day of the game? I think 4 is plenty.
Probably, yeah.
Right? Because if you have a guy like Smoot active and Trayvon's going to be active, those guys on occasion can move inside and pass rush from the interior there. I think Armstead, Smith, Hamilton, and Colin Saunders are likely active. I think Austin Johnson's probably one of those guys. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if one of those young defensive ends does get a jersey on game day. Somebody pointed out on the text line, Tim Patrick is on the active roster. They just traded for him. Yeah, when we're talking about will they be active, you can't activate all 53 on game day. Obviously, he's on the 53-man roster. We know that. They just traded for him, but we'll see. Somebody said, when are waiver claims announced? I would imagine you have until like 4 o'clock today to submit your claim.
Yeah, I think they come through at noon.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I think the announcements are at noon. I know
Today?
Yeah. I know Gladstone has a 4 o'clock presser.
Yes.
Today, but I think the waivers get processed at noon today, I believe.
Okay, well then we'll find out sooner rather than later because that word will get out quickly. Somebody on the text line, is Tim Patrick better than Christian Kirk? Jags gave up a 6th for Patrick and only got a 7th for Kirk. Great question, right? I mean, but part of it is market forces as well, okay?
And Parker Washington kind of replaces Christian Kirk.
Sure, but that doesn't mean that Christian Kirk doesn't have X value.
No, yeah.
And did you get enough value for him? And part of it is in moving him, you reduce your salary cap burden. There are other benefits to that. And I'm going to presume that James Gladstone's a pretty sharp guy. And he didn't just, the first person that came knocking on his door said, I'll give you the lowest draft pick possible for this player who's been a starter for you. Okay, we'll take it. My guess is they're willing to deal Christian Kirk, and they did their due diligence. But it is interesting, right, that Tim Patrick costs more in compensation. You can see Christian Kirk's impact a lot more readily because you can just tally up, he's caught this many balls for this many yards and this many touchdowns, and that's where his impact's going to come. They're completely different types of wide receivers, though. Yeah. And the role that they want Tim Patrick to play is completely different than the one that Christian Kirk, or in this case, Parker Washington, is going to play for this team. So,
yeah, I would agree. Look, in Christian Kirk, how big is his role going to be in Houston? Do you imagine this year?
I think it could be significant, honestly, because if that offensive line is as shaky as it is, some of those longer, deeper developing routes might not be there for them, and they might be thrown underneath a lot.
Yeah, and we know Nico's not there for the first month, at least. Yeah, they put him on the PUP list or whatever.
Did they? Yes,
Yeah.
Nico Collins?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
I didn't see
That's
that.
news to me.
That's news to me as well. I think that would have been much bigger. I don't hear anything about that with Nico Collins.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw they put him on the PUP list.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't.
I'll check again.
Yeah, I don't see. I think you might.
He did move to reserved PUP
Did he?
list.
When did that happen?
Yesterday.
I just Googled Nico Collins news, and there's nothing coming up on this.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy.
Like, I saw it on, the news roundup on NFL.com yesterday.
Sorry, this is Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Tank Dell,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, much different.
Right, Tank Dell is going to be out for the year.
Yeah, search Nico.
Yeah,
Tank
Nico's
Dell.
not injured at all. Jaden Higgins, high second-round pick, bigger, but completely different. He's an outside receiver, completely different guy than Christian Kirk. I mean, I think Christian Kirk starts in 3 receiver sets. He might start in 2 receiver sets for Houston. I think he's going to be a big part of their offense.
Sure.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I'm curious to see how effective that Houston offense is going to be with the anchor they have at offensive line right now. We'll see how much that gets in the way of whatever they're going to be doing. But yeah, I'd imagine, I don't know that Christian Kirk will be necessarily what he was for the first 2 years he was here in Jacksonville. I don't think he'll be pushing, especially that first year where he was an 80-catch guy.
Yeah, maybe not.
I think expecting him to maybe be a 50-catch guy and somewhere around that 600 yards, that seems reasonable.
But do they lean more on this short passing game with Joe Mixon on the non-football injury list?
Right.
He's going to miss at least 4 games, so Mixon won't play against the Jaguars in week 3. And, Nick Chubb, how long does he go? He's had some major injuries, and he had a decent preseason. Apparently there are questions, though, of how long he could play at any kind of a high level. And then you got Dameon Pierce behind them, who was a big disappointment last year. You got the rookie Woody Marks. I mean, there are a lot of question marks with the Houston Texans.
No doubt.
Right now. I mean, the division is there for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I'm not saying the Jags should be considered the favorite, but they should be in contention for the AFC South this year, or else I think they're doing things wrong. Dolphins running back Devon Achane, they say will be ready to go week 1. These are some of the news items coming down in the last few minutes as we get past the 53-man roster cut down. We get more clarity on some of these injury situations, much like we did on Caleb Bransaw, but clarity in the wrong direction. What do you think of the Jaguars' moves? And vote today as well. With the roster being cut to 53, which of these 4 position groups do you think is the deepest right now? Cornerback, defensive end, running back, and wide receiver. We'll discuss that when we return in a moment. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. It's a high-speed chase to the checkered flag.
Off the corner, to the line, the checkered flag is waving.
This Sunday at Darlington.
He's gonna do it!
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Fall is here. The air is crisp. Football is on, and the perfect backyard atmosphere starts with a high-quality fireplace from CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living. Hey, it's Joe C. Imagine nights by the fire, cheering on your team, surrounded by friends and family. CSS can transform your outdoor space into the ultimate game day destination. Stylish, warm, and built for memories. With several wood, gas, and electric options, let CSS make your backyard the best seat in the house. Visit CSSFireplaces.com.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on 1010XL. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 27, 2017, Floyd Mayweather defeated Conor McGregor in 10 rounds.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the country that offers multi-unit hair grafting, FUE Neograft hair transplants, and the 45-minute effective PRP treatments.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
Thank you, IHRS.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Schedule a free evaluation and find out how to grow your hair back and keep the hair you have. Call 904-777-IHRS. Take the first step to restoring your hair today. Visit hairforme.com.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
IHRS has been restoring hair for men and women for over 30 years.
Call now for a free in-person or virtual evaluation. 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Or visit hair4me.com.
Football season is here, so I've got to get organized. Lauren Brooks here. Closets by Design creates custom storage for every space, lifestyle, and budget. From closets to garages to laundry rooms or entertainment centers, wherever that clutter has taken over. Call today to schedule a free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off with free installation. Yes, that's 40% off plus an additional 15% off this month only. Call 904-878-9393 or visit closetsbydesign.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Everything you need to know about the Jags. Jaguars Today on 1010XL.
Man, enthusiasm runs wild in the preseason, and fine. You know what? Be enthusiastic, right? But I'll take some of this action if you're offering. The Jags will have 4 1,000-yard receivers we see on the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Just watch. I will watch, and I will confidently say that has the proverbial snowball's chance in hell of happening this year. It has never happened in the history of the National Football League. There have been 5 instances of 3 receivers on the same team having 1,000 yards, and I don't, that's 2 would be very good.
2 would be awesome.
2 would be very nice. I mean, I don't think there's much chance De'Ami Brown or Parker Washington sees enough action coming their way to get anywhere near 1,000 yards. Maybe you're going to count Brenton Strange as one of them, because one of the instances was back in the early 80s with the Chargers, and Kellen Winslow was the leading receiver there.
So I guess the question then becomes, if we're talking the receiver that finishes 4th on the team in receiving yards has how many yards?
1,001. I don't know. Well, here's the guys who finished 3rd on those respective teams. Here are the totals they had. The high watermark was Gary Clark. Oh, no. Okay. I'm reading this. They don't have these listed the right way. I guess the low guy on each team, Charlie Joyner had 1132 back in 1980 for the Chargers, 1138 for Ricky Sanders on the 89 Redskins at the time. 2 guys, Bert Emanuel and Terrence Mathis, both had 1,039 yards as part of a trio with Eric Metcalf for the Falcons in the mid-90s. Brandon Stokely had 1077 for the Colts when they did it with Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. And then Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, and Steve Breston had 1,006. So the 3rd guy doesn't clear it by a whole lot. I'd like to see what the 4th guy on those teams had. I'm betting under 500 probably.
We can go look at some point.
Right, for most of that stuff. But whatever. I mean, enthusiasm. Look, would I love to see it happen?
I don't mind
Absolutely.
the enthusiasm. It'd be amazing.
It'd be great. It'd be phenomenal.
Like if they had 4 1,000-yard receivers.
If BTJ and Travis Hunter each go over 1,000 yards this year, you probably had a pretty successful offense.
Like, I don't put the odds all that high that they'll have 2.
No, I wouldn't either. Right? I wouldn't bet against having 2.
Right. Like it's one of those where I do think it's hard to imagine that both of them will wind up with 1,000 yards this season. It's not impossible, right, that Travis Hunter winds up being that kind of player for him. I certainly think that it's possible for him to do that kind of thing, but I don't necessarily expect it. Like, if he only had 850 yards this year, I'm not going to be like, what a bummer. Like that's not how I'm necessarily going to look at it.
Right. Depends on how impactful those yards are. Plus, how many touchdowns did he have? When in the game did these plays get made? What did he do on defense? All these different things. So, overall, Tone, part of our question of the day is depth at these various positions. How do you feel about the Jaguars' wide receiver depth?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, obviously.
Yeah.
Because we're anticipating a massive career leap from De'Ami Brown. Right? Anything he does that justifies his $10 million salary would be a massive career leap, because he's never done anything that would indicate he's worth $10 million a year as a receiver. But, I think what happens is you get a new regime and you're willing to give them the trust, especially because the new regime is always replacing an old regime, and you get rid of an old regime because you're tired of their ways, right? So we want to believe that James Gladstone has a magic touch on everything, every move he makes. It probably won't work out that way.
Right.
But I'm hopeful that De'Ami Brown's going to be a solid player. I mean, look, Travis, if you just added Travis Hunter to the mix and said you had Brian Thomas, who was one of the best receivers in the National Football League already last year, and you added the Biletnikoff Award winner, award for the best receiver in college football. That's a pretty damn good start right there. I mean, again, how often do you need your fifth receiver? Tim Patrick's fine. In terms of receiving talent grade for the unit, forget, run blocking grade. Just the receiving grade itself, I don't know if Tim Patrick or Austin Trammell, they're different types, but I don't know if any one or the other is a more likely to put up numbers receiver as the fifth guy in this offense anyway, that wants to run first.
Look, I think we're all excited about whatever Parker Washington is going to be.
He's look phenomenal.
Right, and his role will be in this offense. I like the, if we're talking about the four, which is typically what you talk about.
Sure.
With an NFL team. If you're talking about the four, De'Ami Brown was all the hype through the whole offseason. He was fine in training camp. There was nothing to, necessarily cool it off with De'Ami Brown. It just wasn't as hot with De'Ami Brown once we got into training camp. Parker Washington was the guy that was hot through the offseason and remained hot, through training camp and the preseason games and his opportunities. So I'm curious to see how much his role may have expanded in the offense based on what they saw, and De'Ami Brown is interesting because he is the take the top off the defense kind of guy too, right? Like he does have the speed, and when they have Hunter and Brown and Thomas Jr. on the field at the same time, they can run those guys wherever they want to run them.
Right.
Like
they're all deep threats.
Right. They can spread a defense out however they want to do it that way. And then maybe that opens up some things for Strange or whoever in the middle of the field. They obviously want to be a team that's going to be much more reliant on the screen game than we've seen maybe in the team's history, right? Like be more reliant on that part of the game as well. But yeah, I think overall I feel, and I'm only comparing it to what we've typically had here in Jacksonville, right? It's hard to compare it to the whole league as far as how I feel about these things, but compared to what they typically have here in Jacksonville, I feel really good.
Yeah,
about the wide receiver offense.
Right. I feel like it's a reasonably deep group.
Yeah.
You got to do a little projecting here. I mean, look, Travis Hunter's a rookie. Everything's a projection with him.
Absolutely.
De'Ami Brown, pretty much everything's a projection with him. Parker Washington, he's got to take a major leap. Will he be able to do that consistently over the course of 17 games? No questions about Brian Thomas Jr. Not from me, anyway. Right now, wide receiver running third in our poll today. Running back is walking away with it. Thought I'd say something else. Did you? No, 58% saying running back's the deepest position out of the ones we offered up. Defensive end coming in second right now. We'll continue to discuss those other positions as we get into hour two. John Oehser going to join us from Jaguars.com. You're listening to Jaguars Today, and we invite you to keep it right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for my friends at Dandy Foods. Look, been talking about Dandy for well over a decade, and every time I talk about their delicious products or the fact that they're a family business serving Jacksonville for almost 70 years, well, one thing I probably don't say enough is this. It's never frozen with Dandy. Always fresh, folks. It's made fresh, delivered fresh. All their sandwiches, all their items, that's the difference. You'll see other brands out there, but they're more than likely just thawed out and cold fresh. You'll tell it in the bread. It's not all dry and crumbly when you open it. It's soft. Nobody wants a dried out sandwich. Look, the Thompsons understand that. The makers of Dandy nearly 70 years ago. Quality is what they're all about. The highest quality ingredients, locally sourced as often as possible, delivered fresh daily. That's how they give you all those fresh items on a consistent basis. So when you're hungry in Duval, man, look for the sandwich made with the freshest bread, the freshest meats and cheeses. And the next time you're out and about, do what I do. Stop in a Circle K store and make yours a Dandy, and do it today.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. 1010XL takes you inside the program director's office with Dan and Jeff.
What are you looking at?
Daddy hit me with the ball.
The Drill.
Jeez, you two, knock it off!
Mornings on 1010XL.
I think you were married or something.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, rolling lot bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can
count on Catlin.
It's Awaken 180 Weight Loss Wednesday
on Jaguars Today.
These are the last days for Monahan Jewelers store-wide 40 to 50% off sale. These are the biggest savings we could possibly offer, with everything on display discounted 40 to 50% off, ending Saturday, August 30th. We've bought so much brand new jewelry, we need to make room for it, and the only way to do that is to give you huge deals at 40 to 50% off everything. And the sale ends this Saturday, August 30th. Diamond jewelry, colored gemstones, gold chains, everything. Everything on display is 40 to 50% off at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
The Friday night lights are shining even brighter as 1010XL has partnered with Channel 4 to bring you Friday Night Lights, a live streaming show at 7 o'clock every Friday, presented by Farrah and Farrah on the social media channels of 1010XL and Channel 4.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
The first half-champion Jumbo Shrimp are home at newly renovated ViStar Ballpark this week. Tonight is Wear at Home Wednesday, presented by Better Health and Renewal by Anderson. Tomorrow is Mojo Military Appreciation on Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Then it's Big D Building Center Friday fireworks. Saturday, the Honey Drippers return. Baseball all week and weekend. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. That's Loan Pronto. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is an A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call now and start the conversation. Go to loanpronto.com or call 999-1508. That's loanpronto.com.
This is your local sports update. I'm RJ Saunders for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. The Jacksonville Jaguars have agreed to terms with the Detroit Lions to trade a 6th-round selection in the 2026 draft in exchange for wide receiver Tim Patrick, pending a physical. Additionally, the Jags have waived wide receiver Austin Trammell. The 6'5" Patrick had 33 catches for 394 yards and 3 TDs last season. Right now, 84 degrees at 11 o'clock. Time in 10, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farrah and Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farrah doesn't flinch. It's time for Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Oehser. Oh No's. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Served up by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Johnny O time, ladies and gentlemen. It is that time. The cuts have been made. John Oehser has made the cut. He's going double glasses on us, Tony. Look at this. No transition lenses for this guy.
No, I do not have transition lenses.
He's got the regular spectacles on. He's got the sunglasses propped up on his forehead.
I'm ready to go.
What? Don't change because I brought it up right there. It was a good
I
look
use
for
it.
you.
Yeah, it's not.
It had nothing to do with that?
Nah, so I sometimes put them on, sometimes take them off.
All right,
So,
well, there you go. Happy Wednesday. How are you? How are things?
Good. Got through cuts. Got James Gladstone speaks at 4:15 today.
Yes.
So, that'll be very good insight into some things they did, and looking forward to that.
Now, Tony and I were talking about it, John. I mean, there's been a ton of turnover on this roster, obviously, since it was the greatest roster the Jaguars had ever assembled, we were told last year. The most talented roster of all time. Don't forget that line. Man. So anyway, as we look at this, you live with these guys, in your mind, and
Right.
you're envisioning the different roles that they can play for you, and you make it all the way through training camp. And as we all talked about, big body wide receiver might be on the claims list. Well, they traded for one instead. I'm not sure they're going to claim anybody today. What do you think? It's so, who would be the guys looking over their shoulder the most right now?
Probably at safety. There still might be a move there, perhaps. Wide receiver was kind of obvious. I mean, they hadn't been real secretive about that they wanted the big body guy. Beyond that, not a lot.
So when you say safety, though, are you suggesting they might claim a safety that would take the spot of a safety on the roster, or they would add a safety at the expense of another position?
Hard to tell on that. Could be somewhere on the right. I mean, it could be either. I mean, I don't know that that's the deepest position they have. That everywhere in the secondary sort of stands out as they're still needing to make sure they've got it.
I could see corner tone because they did try to, bring in some different corners and check them out. And, Braswell's in that last spot, and he may be fine, maybe 100% safe. But I don't know. I feel like I'm cautiously optimistic about the corner group that they have, right? And it's getting no traction whatsoever in our poll today. We're talking about what do you feel is the deepest position? And we opted to put that one in there along with running back and wide receiver and defensive end. We could have put offensive line, but I don't know if we know how good the starting five is going to be. So it's tough to determine. Well, if you're not good enough to start on a line that we have questions about, how quality can the depth be?
Right. And I think when we're talking about if they bring in a corner, it's going to be the sixth corner maybe being replaced on the team. And that's typical of life in the NFL, it would feel like to me. Generally.
Yeah, that's why I was stumbling around the question. It's sort of a sixth corner, sixth safety, or a fifth safety, whatever it is you get. Maybe you feel like you need a little more special teams there for speed. So
especially with it not coming from wideout now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a given, but that would be the spot I would look at.
Yeah, Antonio Johnson and Ray Lane are going to play a lot of special teams, obviously. I think that, I can't know this, but I think there's a good correlation between Caleb Bransaw season being over and Darnell Savage making this team. Like, they wanted a guy. They look at Bransaw as a guy that, yes, he's going to be a free safety, and he's got the speed, but he's kind of versatile, right?
Mm-hmm.
He can play nickel. He can play in different spots for you. And I think with Savage, he gives you that. Didn't give you the special teams impact that like Daniel Thomas would have, but I feel like they looked at it and said, we need a safety who can actually play in a number of different spots here.
Yeah, they were very disappointed that Bransaw couldn't go this year.
Oh, I think
in him. I mean, they're disappointed.
No,
with the injury,
I think it's the biggest highlight or headline of the day yesterday. And that's just as we talked about in the first hour, it goes to show you have no idea. Wyatt Milam's week to week.
Right.
Caleb Bransaw's week to week. Cole Van Lanen's going to be out for the entire preseason. Like, he didn't sound any worse off than most of the other guys who were sidelined, right? So we were hoping.
Monteric, same deal.
Same deal. Exactly. And those other three guys didn't have any designation, not even short term. And McLeod, who we haven't seen in months, is on the short-term IR because we just don't know. They knew all along probably how close McLeod was to returning. They may have known all along that the Bransaw thing was going to be more significant.
And they knew it was a possibility. I think they hoped it wouldn't be.
Oh, because look, they only used one of those short-term IR spots pre-cut down to 53, right? So if they thought he would be back in 5 weeks, you just use that other spot for him, obviously, and bring him back. So, and John, he's going to come in next year having still not played at the position they drafted him to play, right? With the exception of like the Senior Bowl, And so you had a projection on a guy coming in. He lost a lot of valuable reps, which was going to put him behind the 8 ball. Now he loses an entire season.
Yeah.
that's a big blow when that's your second highest draft pick.
Yeah, they were really disappointed. I didn't hear any thought in talking about this yesterday that it was going to like linger or they were worried about it long term in terms of the injury, not being able to play.
Do we even know what it is? We know lower body, right?
I don't know the exact. I'm hoping the next week or so it'll come out.
I'm sure it will at some point in time. And you wonder, I mean, Dewey Wingert had a nice camp, and it's his job to lose. Let's see what happens going forward, and hopefully he plays fantastic. But, I mean, you draft that guy that highly, you're hoping he comes in and wins the job. That's the guy you wanted to be your opening
by the
day
end
starter.
of the year, they thought, sometimes rookies don't start right away.
Sure.
But certainly.
At the very least, take it over at some point.
Third-round safety, it's very common for that guy to be a starter by the end of the year. And third-round safety is a position where you expect that guy to be pretty good fairly quickly. It's not a huge adapt position like some others.
Any surprise that they kept Danny Strigo and B.J. Green?
I was personally surprised because that's an unusual amount of undrafted rookies to keep at one position, but they love those guys.
Well, it's pass rush important too, right? I mean, if you find a guy that can affect the quarterback.
Right. And they really, obviously, if you keep him on the roster, it goes without saying, they were convinced, particularly with Green, that if they let him go, he was going to get claimed. And really the same with Strigo. They are very, very high on both of those guys.
It only took me the entirety of the preseason to realize it's Strigo and not Strigow as well. So, handy pronunciation guide, right? Take a glance at it every once in a while. All right, let's come back and let's talk about the depth at that position and where that factors in compared to some of the other ones that we've got in our question of the day out there, presented by Chad and Sandy Real Estate. Wide receiver, running back, edge, cornerback. How do you feel about the depth or the quality of the depth at those positions compared to each other? That's our question of the day. One click vote on our Twitter poll, if you don't mind. Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, John Oehser, and Dylan Denmark here with you. By the way, John, how do you pick out your watermelons? You go to the store. Are you a watermelon guy
good.
by any chance?
My wife usually picks this.
Okay, well, Dylan's got a new method. He'll tell you about it on the break coming up. He learned it on TikTok.
Okay. Well,
TikTok, how to pick out your watermelon.
I guess the more you know.
Well, you'll find out. You're gonna broaden your horizons here in a moment.
Learn today.
I know you can't wait. All right, that's coming up next for John Oehser. Back with more Jaguar talk straight ahead on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Superior products, exceptional service. He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Awaken 180 weight loss.
Jaguars Today, Wednesday.
Tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. It's Renewal by Anderson's triple savings month. Get $300 off windows and $825 off patio doors. Plus, no money down, no payments, and no interest for 12 months. This offer expires August 31st. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, would your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
Take a radio boat ride with Captain Cabin on the Ring Power Fishing Forecast Show. Reeled in by the Pest Pros at Royal Pest Services and Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Thursday nights at 6
on 1010XL AM.
Home is where your story begins. And at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, we're here to make it the healthiest, most comfortable place it could be. Whether it's fresh, clean air, dependable plumbing, or reliable power, we take care of it all. From routine maintenance to state-of-the-art solutions, Donovan keeps your home running smoothly. Because at Donovan, we believe your home isn't just where you live, it's where your health meets comfort. Call Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing at 904-270-COOL or visit us online. Let's make your home healthier, safer, and better together.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician, Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned, whether you're sitting or standing. If you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks. Go Jags.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it work. Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
Hey, it's Vegas time. This is former Jags linebacker Tom McManus from Helmets and Heels, and we want you to come and join us once again in Las Vegas for the Raiders game weekend. If you've not been to the Circus Stadium Swim, you're missing out on 6 temperature-controlled pools and a massive 143-foot screen with all the current sports betting action. Plus, all you Jaguar fans are invited to huddle up with Helmets and Heels at the Overhang Bar with our pregame tailgates on Friday with drink specials and special giveaways.
Lauren Brooks here. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, and myself will be broadcasting Helmets and Heels live on air from a Stadium Swim Cabana on Friday, October 31st. Then hosting the wildly popular Jacksonville Huddle Up Friday evening at the Overhang Bar inside Circa. If you were there last year, you know you won't want to miss it. If you've already booked your flight to Vegas for the big game and are still searching for accommodations, stay where we're staying at Circa Resort and Casino from October 30th to November 3rd.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Oehser.
Served by
Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
All right, so Osh, next time you go to the farmer's market, just remember to glance at the standings in Jaguars Today Fantasy League number 1. You can look at Denmark's team name, and that will tell you all you need to know about selecting your produce.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
What did you make of the revelation of how to pick out your watermelon?
I got to think on it.
Do you think that'll get passed along to Mrs. O? Will Mrs. Johnny O get
probably
that?
not.
No? She won't get that word?
Might just stick to the way we're doing it.
All right. Fair enough. Let's talk running back room. As we're sitting here, the rules have changed. You can have more guys active on game day, and coaches love those roster spots, man, don't they? So as long as if you got 47 active, but if you have 8 offensive linemen, you can count the 8th as your 48, but only if you're keeping 8.
Right.
Okay, so why not keep the extra offensive linemen active, right? So you have 8 offensive linemen, so one of your 9 will be among the 5 that doesn't get a jersey, right? I think Austin Johnson's a pretty obvious candidate. I don't know if you need to go 3 deep at nose tackle on game day, right? Plus, you have some other interior options that you can slide inside for some pass rush and things like that. So that's 2 guys right there. At least one of the rookie
Yeah, I think it's one of the rookies. I think just based on what you see, I think Green maybe a little bit ahead right now. Maybe he's up. Strigo. I think one of those 2 would be down logically.
So that's 3 guys. Maybe Braswell is the last corner, possibly.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Right. Like teams love. I say they. teams love having corner depth on game day because you're playing 3 all the time. Oftentimes you're playing 4, sometimes even, depending. Because Savage can play, as a kind of de facto corner as well. So maybe a linebacker. We're trying to figure out.
I would think.
Can you get all 4 running backs? Is it easier today to see a path to all 4 running backs being active on game day?
It's never easy, but I think it's doable.
These are the kind of decisions they got to make, right? Yeah. Like, do we keep that extra linebacker who may be a special teams demon, or do we keep, what in terms of, like, it's easy to see special teams impact if you're a return guy, right? Like, out of the running backs, who provides the most special teams value on coverage?
I think LeQuint's a pretty good special teams player.
That's what I would think, right? Because he's a very physical. Like he kind of headhunts when he has the ball in his hand, right? He's not
going to back down from you.
No, so I would think he would be a really good.
Yeah, my understanding, and I haven't talked to anybody about him special teams specifically in a few weeks, and sometimes during camp, guys can go up and down. My understanding early was that they liked him on special teams.
All right, so the John Oehser school here, okay?
It's bad school.
There are 4 running backs active on game day, let's presume.
Right.
Okay? What are the roles?
I think ETN's your starter. I think Bigsby is, probably playing along with Tootin, rotating second, third quarter, and then I think LeQuint Allen's your third down back.
Like when you have one
Bigsby's
running back
important for returns too.
Is ETN like 60%?
That's a good.
I'm just a rough estimate in your mind.
That's been something that I've sort of been watching during preseason to try to figure out, and it's so hard during preseason because you only get they basically rotated Tank and ETN for that one game.
Right.
Is that what they're going to do? Maybe some version of that. But then Tootin's playing so well. I don't have a great answer to your question. I know they love ETN in this offense. My sense is if you're keeping 4 up, they're going to play more guys at the same time than maybe they thought going into this. That would be logical as well.
You mean 2-man backfields or like ETN splitting out into the slot kind of?
Yes and yes. So,
but then you start to get into like,
are you taking receivers off?
Who you right? And are you taking Travis Hunter off the field?
Right.
You gave up all this capital to go get, right? Or are you taking De'Ami Brown off the field? Who you're paying $10 million to ostensibly be one of your top 3 guys.
Yeah. I know that they like Tank as a returner a lot, kickoff returns, and kickoff returns are going to matter more this year. Now, that doesn't mean that's all he's going to do, but
and he's not necessarily the primary guy. Now, do you think? I mean, it depends. The Jags could employ 2 deep guys. Parker Washington. Do you think if they have one guy deep, is it most likely Parker Washington?
That'd be my guess, but I think with this setup, I think you usually have 2.
All right. Let's do this. If one running back is not active on game day, who are you making the case for that to be? I mean, it's not ETN. Right?
No, it's either Bigsby or Tootin.
It's got to be, right? You would think.
Well, because LeQuint's going to be on the field. I mean,
he's going to be.
He's their best pass blocker.
He's the pass protector.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I rank them and talk about them, I always go ETN, Bigsby, Tootin, and LeQuint. Just because ETN's been here longer than you have Bigsby. And
Bigsby was getting run with the ones for a large portion of camp.
Yeah, so I think that's I would think you would see early on, just logically, I think it was New Orleans when they went ETN with the starters and Bigsby with the next drive. I think you could see that early. And then where do you play Tootin in that? I don't know yet, but I know they want Tootin up. Tootin up. Hey.
Dude, it's just like, but I mean, and how many touches can you foresee in a 4-man backfield?
Yeah, I don't know
for that guy.
And I do wonder, how close do you think it is, even in short yardage situations, between the decision between Bigsby and Tootin specifically? Like, I don't think ETN is your short yardage guy, but I think we saw enough out of Tootin in preseason that he is
might be your
tough
short yardage
runner.
guy.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think Tootin has a chance, and it's not a knock on Tank when you say that. I think Tootin, if there was a surprise about Tootin in the preseason to me, and it was because, I don't know these guys as well as scouts do, I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was as strong a runner inside the tackle. So I think it's only a matter of time before he's the starter.
This year?
Well, I mean, maybe later on as this plays out, but he maybe this year, but certainly long term.
I think when they drafted him, that was their vision for him. I had somebody pretty high up in the organization really early in the offseason. I asked them what they thought, first opening day, who's the back? Tootin.
Yeah.
I mean, now hasn't necessarily played out
Travis
that way.
Has played so well.
He has.
With what they want to do and with how Liam wants to use backs. I think they like Travis much more than they thought as a collective they were going to in March. And I don't think they disliked him in March, but throughout the offseason and training camp, ETN has impressed them more each day, each week, and just how he fits.
I still think, just as a pure runner, he's third best on this team at bat. It's hard to deny Bigsby behind the same line averaged almost a yard more per carry last year, right? And I think Tootin's going to show that he may be the best of the bunch. By the way, Tootin's short, but he's compact as hell, right? I mean, he's 5'9", but he's almost 210.
Yeah, he's in. I've never watched him in a sort of live situation where I haven't come away thinking, boy, that guy's a lot tougher than I thought he was going to be. Meaning, to your point.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think even though it was against backups and he got a big assist for the last push with the offensive line, I think that touchdown
showed a lot.
That 8-yarder, it just showed his mindset of, you got me kind of stopped here, but I'm not stopped. He didn't just give up on the play. He could have taken that for a 2-yard gain, and that would have been the play. And he kind of pushed it on further, and then everyone kind of jumped in on that, level of effort. And all right, if this guy's fighting for the last breath, and I think that probably went a long way with the coaching staff, is my guess.
Those top two guys are good players. They're going to have to play really well to hold Tootin off.
How do you feel about the offensive line health situation? We don't know specifics on all these guys, but Anton Harrison and Chuma Edoga were missing time at the end of camp. Wyatt Milam was deemed week to week. Cole Van Lanen said to be out for the preseason. All these guys on the active roster, no designations, good to go. You think we're going to have them all available?
I don't know if you're going to have Van Lanen available week 1. But that's sort of me speculating. I did not really talk to anybody about that specifically yesterday. So out of the bunch, I think he would be the most worrisome for week 1 to me.
Yeah, which still, we talked about, Tone, you're probably going to have one lineman that's not up for you anyway. And hopefully you don't.
How confident are you that Milam would be available week 1?
I don't have enough information on that to know.
Okay.
I don't want to sit here and speculate on something that I don't know. So that's a blind spot for me, so I don't want to speculate.
Yeah, well, and you go into the situation, McCary's missed time, right, with a back, I think it was, right? Anton's missed some time. So let's say Wyatt Milam's not ready to go for week 1 anyway, and neither is Cole Van Lanen. Now you're talking about you got a 7th-round rookie
squad.
And Chuma Edoga. You might have an elevation.
That's probably that feels like
it would make sense.
That could be the play. That's where you would use one of those this year. I mean, use one of those that week. I apologize. I hadn't really talked to anybody this week about the backup offensive line. So
no, I got you. I'm just you think McCary's going to open up as the right guard?
I think so.
It's interesting. I wonder what would happen if Edoga doesn't miss any time there, because I felt like there was a ton of momentum for him. He was playing so well, and then part of that was McCary wasn't on the field.
Yeah, it was. I mean, my understanding is that was really, really close the whole way. They wouldn't be bothered. Whoever's out, they wouldn't be bothered going with the other guy.
No, I got you.
But I think McCary starts is my feeling, but that's my feeling.
We won't know for sure, obviously, until they get on the field against Carolina, right? Like, we know it was a priority going into the offseason, the offensive line. They want to run the ball more. Like, all these things have been a talking point throughout this entire process. Based on what you've been able to see to this point, how improved do you think they are on the offensive line compared to where they were at the end of last season?
As a running group, I think they're really improved. I think the focus on it, and you've only got a few plays to really base that on because the running game's so weird in preseason because you just don't get to it. And anybody involved with the running game will tell you you need reps, you need to get in the third quarter of a game to know, et cetera, et cetera. But I think we talked about it last week on the show, this running on 3rd and 3, I think it was against New Orleans with ETN. There were some moments in that game where you thought, okay, that looks like something they're going to be able to rely on, something they want to rely on. So I'm optimistic. They're optimistic. They think they're going to be a much better run blocking team. Pass blocking, I thought they were okay last year. I thought they'd have been a better pass blocking unit had they been a better run blocking unit. So I trust they're going to be at least okay pass blocking, but better run blocking.
Yeah, Luggs was pretty impressed overall with the play of the offensive line. At least that's what he said yesterday.
Well, especially that last game for the guys who were playing were impressive, but they're not going to be around.
Right. So by the way, you could be in this boat. The Texans not only put Joe Mixon on IR, and Nick Caserio, their GM, was asked today, will he play this year? We'll see. We'll see sounds like a big fat no to me. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like, if you're pretty confident that Joe Mixon's going to show, he'll play at some point. What the exact timeline is, we don't know. We'll see is usually
I agree with you on that.
An omen of bad things to come on that front. And that's been an interesting position group.
Load up
for the
Nick
Texans.
Chubb.
Let's go, baby. I mean, let's load up the guy who's had all kinds of injuries and is about 30 years old himself. Let's get him. They're gettable. Let's come back here on the other side. Tony will take us around the league. Other moves being made, including, as we mentioned this morning, Adam Thielen being dealt from the Jags' Week 1 opponent, the Carolina Panthers, to the Minnesota Vikings. So that's one less
going home.
piece. He is going home, and Bryce Young will not have at his disposal the guy who's been the leading receiver for the team for the last 2 years. So, we'll see if Jalen Coker and Xavier Legette are ready for prime time.
Yeah.
But
I
hopefully
doubt he's
not.
going to lead the Vikings in receiving.
Pretty sure he will. Well, I presume, barring Justin Jefferson's hamstring being a bigger issue than many hope it will be. John Oehser is here with us. We'll continue the discussion. You can vote on which position you think has the most quality depth for the Jags at corner, defensive end, running back, or wide receiver, although running back is taking it easily right now. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. From estate cleanouts to furniture and appliance removal, we handle it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
Jags fans, a new Everbank Performance account could be your ticket to London this October. The Everbank London Getaway Experience. One lucky winner and a guest get round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, and tickets to see the Jags play in London. Everbank.com/London for official rules. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Everbank London Getaway Sweeps entry period 7/28/25 to 9/5/25. Enter and get official rules and details at Everbank.com/London.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
This is Hayes Carlyon, here from a driver who made the smart move to buying a vehicle from Atlantic Infinity.
Hayes, this is my second Infinity, so I knew exactly what I wanted, and Atlantic Infinity made it so easy for me. The GM Dwayne had my new ride ready to go, and I was in and out of the dealership in about 30 minutes. The Atlantic Infinity promise just sealed the deal for me. It's $2,500 in added value, including roadside assistance. I am so happy with my new car.
Atlantic Infinity, Atlantic, near St. John's Bluff.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Hacker here, and you guys know I always tell you the benefits of Awaken 180 weight loss. Well, I had another one last week. I went down to Disney for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party, right? And I actually dressed up in a costume along with my wife and my son. Now, 100 pounds ago, I would not have ever dreamed of dressing up in a costume nor getting my picture taken because I didn't want to get my picture taken. I didn't want it plastered all over the internet with the way I look. But thanks to Awaken 180 and losing over 100 pounds, you get more confidence. You can wear costumes now. You can be part of the family fun. It's just another benefit that Awaken 180 provides. It's a healthy lifestyle. I'm in the maintenance program now. It's absolutely awesome. Again, I cannot possibly recommend Awaken 180 enough. Losing weight has changed my life. If it's time to change your life, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. If I can do it, you can do it. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Oh No's with Jaguars.com's John Oehser.
Served by
Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft on 1010XL.
All right, let's take a moment here as the moments are running short here on this Wednesday, and pretty much the days are running short before the Jags season opens up. Tony Smith going to take us around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL, brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
In addition to all the Texans news we've already gone through this morning, Houston is trading offensive lineman Austin Deculus to the LA Chargers for a conditional 7th-round pick. Texans safety Jimmy Ward has been placed on the commissioner's exempt list. Carolina is trading wide receiver Adam Thielen and a conditional 2026 7th-round pick, along with a 2027 5th-round pick, to Minnesota for a 2026 5th-round pick and a 2027 4th-round pick in exchange. San Francisco wide receiver Demarcus Robinson has been suspended for 3 games without pay for a violation of the league's substances of abuse policy. The LA Chargers have activated running back Najee Harris off of their non-football injury list. Atlanta has placed right tackle Caleb McGarry on injured reserve, ending his season. Atlanta is trading a 2027 conditional 7th-round pick to Seattle for offensive tackle Michael Jarrell. Chicago has activated cornerback Jalen Johnson off of their PUP list. The hope is that he will be able to play week 1 there for the Bears. New Orleans has named Spencer Rattler as their starting quarterback to begin the season. Cleveland has announced that Dylan Gabriel will be the team's 2nd-string quarterback behind Joe Flacco, with Shedeur Sanders dressed on game day as the emergency quarterback. Cleveland is also trading a 2028 7th-round pick to the LA Rams for offensive tackle KT Leviston. Dallas has traded offensive lineman Asim Richards to New Orleans. Miami is signing quarterback Rasul Douglas to a 1-year, $3 million deal.
All right, and Tony, it's not football news, but it's my favorite sporting event. One of them, if not my absolute favorite, the Ryder Cup. Keegan Bradley, who, if someone else was the captain of the team, Keegan Bradley would be the first captain's choice here, the way he's played this year. Among the first couple. Did not pick himself to play in the Ryder Cup. I understand captains have different responsibilities they got to attend to, but damn, man. already up against it with this lineup, Tone. I'm not at all happy about this development with Keegan Bradley. Now, if you go win the Ryder Cup, I will take it back, and I'll give you full praise.
All forgiven.
All forgiven.
For my rage a month out.
At that point in time. Yeah, I'm not raging.
I know it's not rage.
I've calmed down.
I've seen him rage.
Yes.
Rage.
Well,
I've seen him
be
rage.
fair, right?
Yeah.
We've all seen that, and nobody wants to see any more of it. Let's go to defensive end. We talk about the depth here with the Jags. This might be the position I would vote for. And now, it's all a projection, right? Because a lot of people are voting for running back, about 60% in our poll today. And we hope that there's quality depth. You got two guys who never played a down of real football in the National Football League. Of course, you can say the same thing at defensive end. You got two guys at the end who flashed a lot in the preseason and yet have never played a down in the National Football League. But I think, it starts up front where you've got two outstanding players, right? And somebody hit me up on the text line today. Is there any truth to this? That Trayvon Walker could be traded to the Eagles? Oh, my gosh. People love the clickbait
Trade
stuff.
Love it.
They just, somebody associated with the Eagles put this out like, hey, what if we gave this for Trayvon Walker? What if you did? We'd still say no, okay? Like, yeah, you want Josh Hines-Allen too? Maybe Brian Thomas? Should we throw him in? And Travis Hunter, and we'll just wrap it up in a nice package for you.
Because, the league's a factory for Philadelphia to get better.
Right, we're just their farm system here, right? So, no, they're not trading Trayvon Walker to the Philadelphia Eagles or anyone else for that matter. But Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon, you could argue, are two of their three best players on this team.
I would argue that.
Right, Brian Thomas, I think is the best. I put him at number one, but you could argue they're the next two best. Manuel Ogba's been there, done that. Not going to blow you away. Probably going to be a 5 or 6 sack guy.
Smoot's been solid.
Smoot's been very solid.
He's still playing well.
Little versatility. And I'm excited about these young guys, man. I mean, the pressure rate. And granted, okay, who are they playing against? Backups and second stringers. Okay, but if you didn't get pressure against those guys, we'd be like, forget it. Get out of here. But so they're taking these guys and they're like, no, we're whipping their butts every day that we're out there in the preseason. So I'm really, John, kind of hopeful. I mean, we tend to get ourselves in that position, that mindset of looking at the best possible outcome. But how do you feel about overall the pass rush that the Jags can bring beyond Walker and Hines-Allen?
I want to see it beyond those two. I think they can get better pressure in coverage situations. I don't know that they necessarily have beyond those two guys who are going to get there
one-on-one.
Yeah, who are absolutely going to beat their guy. But you don't want the thing you had last year where you felt like if those guys got blocked, the quarterback was going to have an undue amount of time to throw. Smoot, if the coverage is decent, he can get there. Ogba can get there. So I think it's going to be better than the last year. I don't know beyond those two guys if it's great, but I'm not sure how many teams have, great beyond their top two.
No, most people are not going to have great players on the bench very often. Occasionally you get one, right? So we're just talking about
but I think
quality,
it's better,
solid
and you
players.
feel better about the rotation. Every time I've ever watched Smoot play, except for right after the Achilles, of course, when he's coming back from that, but a healthy Smoot always winds up getting you 4 or 5 sacks and 2 or 3 that matter.
Right, because he hustles.
Yeah.
Right? He gets a lot of cleanup
smart.
Stuff. Right. He's not going to beat his man right from the snap all the time.
He finds
But
a
he
way to
fights.
matter on the field, and not all players do.
Well, and obviously, huge difference because they work in tandem is Eric Armstead playing defensive tackle full time. He's healthy right now. And Mason Smith, who by his own admission had to learn how to be a pro last year, was inactive for like a half dozen games. And so now he is healthy.
Yep.
And in some ways, I mean, you'd probably want to get him a few more reps in the preseason, but you wonder if those injuries weren't almost a blessing in disguise. Like, it preserved them and allowed them to focus on getting healthy, and the Jags took their time, and it looks like they are back to full health. And might have exposed that we need more help on the interior, and the Jags went out and made those moves. Ryan O'Halloran tweeted out this morning, I don't know if you saw it, from 95 through 2024, the Jaguars made 10 total player trade acquisitions in the month of August. They made 3 this month alone.
Yeah. When they see something, they're not going to let it fester.
Right, and two of them were, Tony, at the defensive tackle position. So, and granted, they're nose tackles. They're not, the three technique type guys we're talking about. But I think what happened was it forced guys into more reps, and they realized that it's just not good enough with what we've got right now. And they're obviously not going to sit there and rest on their laurels.
Right, and I think the same thing with the wide receiver trade. They knew they needed a guy who could block downfield. They've emphasized it. It's important to them, so they wanted that as well.
And they got it today. Trading for Tim Patrick. Austin Trammell gets waived. I'm sure they'll hopefully get him back on the practice squad. Tony, you were saying noon is when the waiver,
I believe,
order has to, the waiver claims will get processed, and then I'm sure we'll know shortly after that. And by 4:15 this afternoon, you'll hear from James Gladstone weighing in on all of this, the decisions that were made. And, he might have some input, but this is a Liam Cohen decision now when we're talking about the game day roster.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what does the coach want based on his game plan for that specific opponent that day, health of the roster, all those different things, and what he feels he needs at his disposal in terms of who's going to be inactive. All right, we'll come back. One final segment. Let's dig into this question today and cast our official ballot on this one, asking you, now that the roster's cut to 53, which of these positions for the Jags has the most quality depth? Is it corner, defensive end, running back, or wide receiver? And we'll tell you what we're going to vote for and why when we return in the moment. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
Have you or someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI and all criminal offenses. I've been named the best DUI attorney in the state, and David has been named the best criminal defense lawyer in Jacksonville. In your battle with the justice system, there is only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
It's a Weight Loss Wednesday on Jaguars Today. Awaken 180 Weight Loss, your long-term solution for weight loss.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Yo, Jacksonville, Hickens Hype. Checkmate Coatings crushes it with floors I'd put in my own pad.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings. We coat it all: garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors.
Rush to checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
When storms start to crop up in the Atlantic or Gulf this time of year, having a solid plan to handle anything that sweeps through the First Coast is very important. That's where American Electrical comes in. Ensure your home's safety and comfort with an American Electrical home generator. As the area's leading home generator dealer and installer, American Electrical can offer you easy installation, simple maintenance, and peace of mind. Schedule an assessment by simply calling the team at American Electrical. They'll walk you through the best generator for your home or business. Log on, american-electrical.com.
The first half-champion Jumbo Shrimp are home at newly renovated VyStar Ballpark this week. Tonight is Wear It Home Wednesday, presented by Better Health and Renewal by Anderson. Tomorrow is Mojo Military Appreciation on Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Then it's Big D Building Center Friday fireworks. Saturday, the Honey Drippers return. Baseball all week and weekend. JackShrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball.
Are you trapped in a high-rate mortgage, watching your hard-earned money vanish every month? Stop right now. At Loan Pronto, they are delivering the lowest mortgage rates in 3 years. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's rate reduction home loan program is a streamlined, low-cost way to slash your house payments by hundreds of dollars a month. Lock in at a fixed rate as low as 4.99% APR and close in as little as 2 weeks. No appraisal needed in most cases. And here's the kicker. You can skip your next 2 house payments entirely. Don't wait. Rates this low won't last. Call Loan Pronto now for your free, no obligation quote. Loan Pronto is amazing. So start now by calling 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or visit loanpronto.com to lock in your new low rate and skip those next two payments. 999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to I-9 Sports with fall and winter registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. I9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, Denmark, give me the latest scoop on the YouTube TV Fox Sports situation, please, that may possibly impact the Jags if you are a YouTube TV purveyor.
So YouTube TV and Fox are in a dispute, and they have till 8 o'clock tonight to come up with a deal. If not, you will not have any Fox channels. That includes, obviously, the Big Fox. That's the main thing. Ohio State, Texas this weekend, and then the Jags play the Panthers on Fox next weekend. So, just be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Well, so if they don't come to a deal by 8 o'clock tonight, why couldn't they come to a deal tomorrow?
I guess they could.
Okay, so I'm just wondering what the deadline.
That's what's been reported. I've seen, if they don't come to an agreement by 8 o'clock tonight, you may not get college football this weekend. That doesn't mean that for next weekend.
That doesn't mean they couldn't come to a deal.
So that implies Fox is still available now, but at 8 o'clock tonight, if they don't have a deal, it's gone?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't have YouTube TV, so I guess.
I don't either. Yeah.
I mean,
I think my parents do.
I hope the Jags don't, because Tony and I are in the studio watching it.
Yeah.
On the TV broadcast.
We have YouTube TV right there.
We have YouTube TV.
That's what's playing right there in the TV.
Is that right?
Studio, yeah.
Well,
so we're gonna be
that'll be difficult.
We're gonna be
for
having the radio in here and not gonna be able to watch it.
That'll be difficult. But yeah, I mean,
you can hear it. You got the play-by-play.
It's only important to the people it's important to.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are a YouTube TV subscriber and a Jaguar fan, I'm sure you're probably aware of it. Maybe you're not already, but
I am aware.
These things tend to get done. I think
they
tend to.
Deadlines make deals.
But then again, I've been sitting here. Rays games have been blacked out on my local cable because Comcast and Fox Sports 1 had some kind of dispute, whatever.
So it doesn't always get done.
Haven't been on my cable system for the last 2 seasons.
And the Marlins, too.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Fox Sports 1 carries the Marlins and the Rays.
We don't know if Micah Parsons is playing this season. We don't know. We think.
We don't. You're right.
Yeah.
Usually the deals get done, but it's not a full
not always
guarantee. There's some rumors up in Green Bay that, we're making a move to get Micah Parsons. Huh? Maybe you are. I don't know. I don't think the Jags are in that market. John, how would you vote? Official vote. Which of these positions is deepest? Corner, defensive end, running back, wide receiver. Quality depth for you.
Well, I'm going to go. I like wide receiver.
Okay.
I'm going to go wide receiver. And, I certainly like wide receiver depth as much as I like running back depth. I mean, it's so. I think they're all pretty even, but I'm going to go wide receiver.
Okay.
I think Parker Washington has had maybe the best camp of any offensive player, which to me gives you 4 guys who you trust.
Tony, how about you?
I would go running back at the top of my list. I would go running back, wide receiver, defensive end, corner.
Okay.
For me personally.
I understand why everyone's voting for running back. If you feel like maybe the best running back on the team or the guy who's going to emerge is currently part of your depth, right? And really, if you only start one guy, so you could go, well, the guy who's number 2 is interchangeable with him in some ways in Tank Bigsby, and the guy who's number 3 may turn out to be the best of the whole lot. I understand why people are voting for that. I just like the defensive end room. At least I'm cautiously optimistic, and we just went through it with the guys that they have available to them there. We'll see if it turns out to be quality depth or it's just names that have, been okay in the past. But I feel like Agba and Smoot can both be that 4 to 5 sack guy, and maybe even better. And look, that's not to say Josh Hines Allen and Trayvon Walker couldn't get back to maybe where they were 2 years ago. If they're like at 25 between them, right? And they topped that in the past. And then, you get 10 out of the next 2 guys up, and who knows with these guys. And you're going to get some other pass rush sacks from oddball.
Got yourself a pass rush.
You might have yourself a pass rush. The NFL said to be aiming for at least a 6-game suspension for Rashee Rice for violating the league's personal conduct policy. And the suspension would kick in at the start of this season, which flies in the face of he was supposed to have a meeting after week 4 with the league. But if it does kick in at the start of the season, that ostensibly the Chiefs' number 1 wide receiver, at least potentially their number 1 wide receiver, will not be playing when they come to town on Monday night against the Jags. I'm
Too
all
bad for
it.
them.
Maybe Mahomes would like to join him. That'd be fantastic
It would
too.
be.
We made it through the whole show without talking about the impending nuptials, Tony. So.
Maybe there's some sort of engagement party that they have to attend.
Maybe there is.
Well,
Monday
and,
night.
I would say to that, good for the league, right? When the news came out on Rashee Rice that we're not going to have this meeting until after week whatever, in the season, and everyone looks at the Chiefs' schedule.
Like, what are we doing?
Right. Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens. Those are the first 4 weeks of the season. So a lot of people looked at it when the announcement came out and said they're just protecting them through that first month of the season because they know it's going to be tough. Well, now the league comes out and says, we're thinking the first 6 weeks of the season he's going to be out. Good for the league. If that's where it's going to wind up, good for the league.
So week 5, wedding on the Kismet, possible?
Absolutely.
It's available.
So I would offer it up.
By the way, it's the Lions the 6th week of the season. So they play the Jags and then the Lions. That is a really tough first 6 weeks of the year for the Chiefs.
Especially if you're without arguably your number 1 guy. Some people might think Xavier Worthy will overtake him, but I think Rice is still that guy for KC. Anyway, we'll see if that gets some clarity in the next 10 days or so. But in the meantime, let's say hello to Primetime.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Joe C is here with us. Good morning, Joe.
Are you guys doing wedding plans? I'm trying to figure
We're not. It's the first time we mentioned it, by the way. Was that then? We didn't mention specifically whose wedding it might be. It might be young Denmark finding a bride.
You never know.
Negative.
No watermelon at the reception.
Yeah, well,
hey, now you're talking.
I don't know if you heard about that. But
I heard just a tick of it.
That's best left
Just
alone.
a tick.
For
That's
now.
a nice way to put it, Joe.
All right, moving on. Joey, for all the guys that made it, I think the biggest news yesterday is Caleb Bransaw not going to make it on the field this year for this team.
It's okay. It was an experiment to begin with, asking him to change positions, and everyone immediately thought, okay, he's a plug and play guy, which I did not believe.
Well, you got to hope that they're going to be
but
right.
I'm just saying. In other words, it was already an experiment of sorts. Now you don't even get to foster that experiment, shepherd that experiment into the season, which sucks. It really does, because he's fast, he's big, he looks the part. Coach Campo loved him just from a tape point of view when he can walk up the line of scrimmage and be physical. So there was a lot of promising things, but we never really got to see whether it was going to work.
And he'll go into next year without even that full training camp behind him.
And we still don't know if it's going to work.
No, we don't. Right. And so you have a guy who's still having a position switch, and it's just a lost year.
It stinks. It really does.
It does. And I think, again, it just goes to highlight we don't know anything more than they tell us in the preseason. He's week to week with a lower body injury. Same as Wyatt Milam. Other guys were described as out for a longer period of time, and they have no injury designation whatsoever. So,
like, from our perspective, we don't know if the injury's any worse or how severe it is compared to Jalen McLeod's.
Right.
But McLeod goes on the short-term IR. Caleb Bransaw doesn't. He's out for the year.
All right, Joe. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, remember Dewey last year? We saw that injury at camp, and we really weren't still completely aware of how significant it was.
What's coming up today?
We're definitely going to talk Jags 53-man roster. Mark Duffner, one of our coaches, will chime in on that in the noon hour, and then we're getting closer and closer to all that ball. So we'll definitely break down all the college football games. 3 top 10 matchups in the first weekend. You can't ask for.
All right, not on YouTube TV necessarily. Fingers crossed for those folks. Joe, have a great show.
All right, thanks.
Appreciate it. Johnny O, what do you have coming up at Jaguars.com?
The James Gladstone presser at 4:15.
Okay.
Again, looking forward to that. Going to break that down. And then there's practice tomorrow, and then a couple days off, and then we're into it.
All right, and then we will be into it. Happy drafting next Monday and our Labor Day draft.
I am working feverishly to get.
He's trying
confirmed.
to figure out how to accept this invite from ESPN that we do every single year. But I'm fully confident that by Monday at 9:14 you'll have that figured out. For the 9:15 draft.
It's good to be confident.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Johnny O, check him out at Jaguars.com and every Wednesday here on the program. Mike DeRocco in with us tomorrow for Tony Smith and Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. Thank you for listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.